Casualty blasted back onto our screens in the new year with an episode solely dedicated to the coronavirus pandemic. Loads of people were saying it's one of the best episodes Casualty has ever released and is a standout example of what Casualty can do with the right cast, writers and directors all behind it. Now me, personally, I thought it was a fantastic episode and I'm glad Casualty is back because let's face it, we all get bored when Casualty's not on. Sometimes we do things we don't usually do and sometimes we do things that we regret doing.
Try that again, mine's going to record. Right, you ready? Give me a sec. Right, I'm going to try and hold on. Right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Wow, that worked! Let's go, go on. Oh. Yes! Ow!
There's Matthews on the screen just cling to it.
Yes, I'm very, very ashamed of that. And that started making me think, what is my favourite series of Casualty? So I thought, instead of keeping my opinions to myself, I would share it with you lot. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Casualty has been airing for 35 years this year, so that's why I thought I'd do a lot of Casualty content throughout the year to try and help celebrate this historic milestone for the programme. Now, picking a favourite series of Casualty is very difficult and very controversial. I have been watching Casualty since 2007, so what my opinion is of my favourite series of Casualty could be very different to someone who's watched the programme since 1986, for example, because they've seen more episodes, they've seen it go through different stages, so they might consider a certain series of Casualty better than my one. However, I can't really concern myself with that. I have to pick out a series which I think is particularly good, and in my opinion, there is one series that stands out which I think, if I had to sit down with someone who has never watched Casualty before, I would pick out this series because I believe it highlights how great the programme can be when it's firing on all cylinders. And that series is Casualty's 32nd series. I think it's a brilliant series and my favourite series. So I'm going to give some brief details on the series and then some examples of why it is one of my favourites. So Casualty Series 32 consisted of 44 episodes. It aired from the 19th of August 2017 until the 4th of August 2018. Simon Harper remained the executive producer throughout the course of this series. Erica Hoslington began the series as the series producer until episode 16, where she was replaced by Lucy Raffetti, who was joint series producer from episode 11 and then sole series producer from episode 17. Now, series 32 had a lot to live up to because it was the successor of Casualty series 31. Now, series 31 was really the anniversary series. It was celebrating Casualty's 30 years on screen, so that meant that series 31 was sometimes a bit self-indulgent, often celebrating a lot of what came before and not really looking forward to the future. So that meant that Casualty Series 32 could have really been a downgrade from the previous series. However, in my opinion, it sailed for it to become even better than Series 31 was. So Casualty Series 32 opens with a two-part special, partly set in Holby and partly set in France. And it does everything a Casualty Oper should do, in my opinion. It has a memorable episode which stands out and also tackles the controversial subject of illegal immigration. Now, it is very controversial to tackle this subject. I think Casualty handle it well during this two-parter because they don't take a specific side and just highlight the difficulties that medical staff face in treating these patients, even though technically you could say they're not actually allowed to help them a great deal. Even though the France scenes were actually filmed in Wales, it's really good and you have some great cinematography in this episode, which does make it stand out in the viewer's mind. And this series just gets better from that. It has such fantastic storylines, which are some of my favourite of all time. Connie's cancer, the return of Sam Nichols, Ethan Hardy's brief stint as acting clinical lead, which highlighted the pressures faced by emergency departments during the winter periods, Dylan's alcoholism, and the series ended with Alicia Monroe's controversial rape storyline, so controversial in fact that it actually divided the writing room about how they were going to portray it. Now, I think one of the main reasons Series 32 stands out in my mind is it is a very character-driven series. All of the storylines involves taking the characters in ways you wouldn't see them before. Dylan Keogh, usually one of the most level-headed members of the ED team, descends into alcoholism, and that's done brilliantly. William Beck is fantastic during this series. It's another reason it stands out, because Series 32 is very heavily used by Dylan Keogh, so Dylan Keogh stands out, which does raise the series in my opinion. And of course, I think a lot of it has to go down to Lucy Raffetti, the series producer, because she was not afraid to tackle controversial and taboo subjects such as alcoholism and rape. And it paid off. I mean, come on, Casualty earned a BAFTA in 2018 because the work done on this series. So you know what? In my personal opinion, Series 32 is a very high quality series of Casualty. It stands out, and if I had to show someone who had never watched Casualty and say, look, this is what Casualty can do on a good day, I would show them Series 32, and that is why it will always remain my favourite series. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed hearing what my favourite series of Casualty is. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. And also, what is your favourite series of Casualty? I'm not stupid. I know that everyone probably has different opinions to me. So please comment down below what your favourite series is and why it is your favourite. And also, I'm planning on doing a bit more Casualty content this year because it is the 35th year anniversary. So I thought I might as well do some more Casualty content, so please let me know if you'd like to see more Casualty content so I have an idea of how many people would watch it and whether they'd be popular or not, and I will see you in another one. See ya!